Mr. President, good afternoon. I am Alias Goyalaot.
And I'm Yasser Hachapsan.
And we want to ask you a few questions about the platforms that you've introduced. And also, we also want to insert the academic year shift. So,
here in Indonesia,
so first of all, we all know that there's still many students that doesn't know about the platforms.
Yeah.
So you can take this time to reintroduce to us the platforms that you have spoken or you have sold to or you introduced to us in the Banse.
There are many things that we would like to implement here in MSU IAT. But on my party, on my side, when I ran as president under my party, we have emphasized 5 parts of our agenda or the prime student agenda for this year of our party. That was the SWIS or the Student Welfare Identification System, wherein we will introduce new set of identification cards to prove that you are insured individuals for 1 academic year in assurance on your payments for the 85 pesos for the insurance fee, so that you would not be asking any more certifications or any type of documents that will certify you as an insured individual. Those identification cards will be your certifications in a sense that you would not go to KASAMA anymore and ask for a signature or ask for a document that will certify you as an insured individual. So we will try to make it happen this year, this first sem, as it is will be implemented. Second is the CAP, or the Community Assistance Program. As the premier Southern University here in the Philippines, as a famous university here in Southern Philippines, it is not only our task to be mindful of what is happening on our campus borders, but also we should, as our theme has been happening or recurring for 2 years already, going beyond borders. So it is also our duty and our job to help also our other members of the community, especially the adopted community of MSUIT, which is Barangay Tibanga, Kanaway. So that is the adopted community. So we would like to make plans with the Department of Extension or the other centers of the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Research and Extension on what are possible or plausible programs that we're going to implement for this academic year. We have also the STP, or the Student Training Programs. We would like to continue what we have started this year, which is the Gender-Sensitive Anti-Sexual Harassment seminar series for the 3rd year. This program will be eradicated. This program was introduced last year and will be continued this year because it would be a 2-year program wherein we will introduce also a new set of topic, which is the reproductive health issue. If you don't know, the cases of STDs or STIs here in MSU IAT are rapidly increasing. So as the student's representative or as the protector of the students or the voice of the students, we need to inform the students on what are the possible effects of having STIs, how to avoid STIs or sexually transmitted infections, or how are we going to protect them in a sense that through these student training programs. We will try to introduce as much as possible many new topics and ideas, especially if we are faced with the academic calendar shifting. Facing into the academic calendar shifting, you've already given me an idea what should be my stance. I think that would be your question in the later part. But I would like to directly answer it to you right now that my stance on the academic calendar shifting depends on the consensus of the majority of the students. My opinion would not really matter if what is the opinion of the majority, because we need to listen to the consensus of the majority. And by listening to the consensus of the majority, we need to think of it as a responsible answer. Responsible in a sense that we need to make sure that when they give their yes or when they give their no on the issue, they know what is the purpose of the shifting of the academic calendar. Are they pro to it because of the effects or the benefits that we'll be going to get from the integration to the ASEAN nations, or are we going to ask them that, do you think the school is ready Do you think our classrooms are ready? Do you think our faculty is ready? Do you think, are we, the students, ready for the integration? Those are questions that needs to be answered through the forums that we need to have for the students to understand what is really the possible effects of having the academic calendar shifting. If you're going to ask me, neither I will say yes or no, because I've already said that it will depend on the consensus of the majority of the students of what are their answers on the academic calendar shifting. So those are some of my platforms, and the platforms will still pursue, but there are add-ons along the way. Because as we can see, this year will not only about KASAMA, but the KASAMA presidency this year will also have a seat in the Board of Regents, therefore expanding its scope from the KASAMA and MSU-IT, but also the representation of the whole MSU system students in the Board of Regents.
So, I just had a question about the identification number.
Identification, yes.
Is that in the ID?
No.
Is it in the ID?
The identification system, the new identification system will depend on your insurance receipts. As you can see, in the first semester, we issue receipts on those who have paid their insurance fees and their medical assistance fees. So in your insurance receipt numbers, those will reflect on your identification numbers so that it will coincide. Because normally students lost or tend to lose their receipts through the whole year. So it's easier to lose the receipt, which is a single piece of paper, rather than losing an ID, which you keep on your wallet. As we all know, students even keep the houses of their SIM cards.
So it's a new ID?
Yes, it's a new ID, aside from the ID that the students will be getting as their institute ID. So it will be reflected there. KASAMA will be the one to issue the identification cards.
And Mr. President, about the helping the community ba? So, how can it be possible? I mean, there's a new course na sad na
No, helping the community through the efforts of the students. For example, what I have in mind, this is just one of the possibilities that I am thinking. June is the start of the classes. And then I think Barangay Tibanga Kanaway has a daycare center. And a daycare center is part of, the aim of MSU-IT is to provide education. And we're getting education. So as students, if we can provide the aid to help them in their education, then why not? There are certain programs that we can give to them. For example, in my department, the AB English organization is having the tutorial classes to those students. So if they're given tutorial classes, why cannot KASAMA give them some sort of kits? For example, back-to-school kits. For example, we can give them notebooks, papers, and pens. We can refurnish one classroom each year. For example, if we can refurnish one classroom, and then we can provide new sets of chairs for the students, isn't that a good thing that we can, even though it's a small thing, it's a small classroom, small number of students, but still, it would count as a bigger or a small part to the bigger scope of helping the community.
And do you plan on expanding it, not just in Kanaway, but in the whole one?
If it is possible, then why not?
Yeah.
It is good to help everybody, but I think MSU-IT is adopting Tibanga right now. So we need to focus on Tibanga right now before we can expand. Because if we don't see the need anymore to aid Tibanga, or if we can expand it, then why not? So at this moment right now, I think Tibanga is the main concern of MSU-IT.
Okay, Pres. As we all know, not all of the students here in MSU-IT knows what is academic calendar shift. So, can you explain to us what is academic calendar shift for them to know?
As I have understood, the academic calendar shifting is the aligning or the realigning of our academic year to the other academic calendars of the ASEAN nation. The ASEAN integration, it is an economic cooperation, economic, educational, or whatever part of the idea that we need to align as one ASEAN. The members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations wants to align everything. For example, as a student in the Philippines, and then the Philippines only have a 10-year basic education. That is why the Philippines opted to have a 12-year basic education through the K-12 program, because only in the Philippines has this 10-year basic education in the ASEAN, excluding Bangladesh, of course, because Bangladesh is not part of ASEAN, or not member of ASEAN. And right now, we have difficulty in having exchanges with students, cultural exchanges, ideas exchanges, paper exchanges, not only on the students' part. Our academic calendars are not aligned. So therefore, in order to realign, that is why we need to have the academic calendar shifting. But as I have already said, we need also to consider every major stakeholder of the university, the students, faculty, the staff, the administration. We need to consider if we are really ready for this academic shifting or academic calendar shifting.
So I think we're satisfied with your answers. So, and you've already said your opinion about the academic calendar shift. So that's it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. No problem. Our academic calendars are not aligned. So therefore, in order to realign, that is why we need to have the academic calendar shifting. But as I have already said, we need also to consider every major stakeholder of the university, the students, faculty, the staff, the administration. We need to consider if we are really ready for this academic shifting or academic calendar shifting.
So I think we're satisfied with your answers. So, and you've already said your opinion about the academic calendar shift. So that's it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. No problem.